Hello, all you beautiful drywallers and painters. You heard me right. Welcome to a Paintrepreneur episode of the Drywall Podcast. With us today for his first appearance on the show, all the way from Boston Spa, New York, we have Brian M. Cooney, a pretty boy paint. I stumbled across Brian while on my most recent trip to Bolton for the Trade Decorator live show over there, and well, Brian was one of the few Americans at the show, so I was instantly interested and I had to know more about him and his product. We're straying off the path a bit on this podcast into the world of paint, but it occurred to me during the show that lots of drywall and dry liners do paint. So maybe you had some connections in New York where you could take this product and be like, hey man, check this out. What do you think?
I did that and the door shut so fast on my face it broke my nose.
Get out of here. Get out of here with your soap, pretty boy.
Bacoa was the distributor. They were everything in Manhattan. And I wined and dined them, so to speak. I called them, emailed them, and I sent them a case of this, and they never returned my phone calls. I went into the paint store called Janovics, and I showed him a bottle, the buyer. He goes, too cartoonish, shit'll never sell. So that was it. They were done, and nobody wanted it. And you're just like, holy shit, what do I do?
Well,
that was 2018. And
that was the
right in the face. And then all of a sudden, I was doing my yoga, and this real cute girl said to me, "You ever heard of Instagram?" And this is before Mark Zuckerberg owned it. It had the old logo.
Right.
And 2018, the end of it, I got an account in December 2018. 2019, I just started giving it away. So there was Johnny Dater, the happy painter. There was Sam, the right painter. And I was sending these guys bottles, and then they started using it. And that's how it started. And I was selling it online, and I added a wire brush to it. And I started making some other products. I bought this guy's patent to make the shield covers so you protect your brush. And I started coming up with the idea of selling packages.
It hasn't always been easy for Brian. After his father left at just 16, he was a high school dropout who had to claw his way back with little help from his brother and a Catholic priest. He went back to college and discovered he had a knack for entrepreneurialism. From stand-up comedy to corporate America, we cover a vast array of activities with this gentleman, and we get to know the man behind Uncle Brian, persona. And maybe you'll have an amazing new product to add to your arsenal. And speaking of amazing products, I'd like to give a warm Drywall Podcast welcome to Ames Tools for sponsoring the Drywall Podcast in the months of June and July. They've been away, but now they're back, and they've turned their sights to Fresco Harmony. What could be better than decorative tools alongside a cutting-edge specialty wall system like Fresco Harmony? Nothing. Keep your eyes open for information regarding a Fresco Harmony training and product launch at their location in Pompano Beach, Florida. One thing's for sure, I will be there and ready to play in the mud. Grab a free sample pack of Fresco Harmony and some Tape Tech specialty tools and learn about some amazing finishes with this amazing new partnership. Also, a special thanks for being a tried and true supporter of the Drywall Podcast over the past few years. Be sure to catch my episodes with Tape Tech and Ames legends like, but not limited to, Mark Wilson, episode 125, Carolina Garcia, episode 137, Robbie Worrell, episode 148, and Ames president himself, Mike Ventura, episode 156. All very good. All fantastic people. But for now, let's take a deep dive into the world of paint and Brian Cooney, aka Uncle Brian, on the 174th episode of the Drywall Podcast. Let's get into it. Brian Cooney, pretty boy.
That's it. You got me the first time. Brian Cooney, pretty boy. Get my coffee. What's up, Nick?
You got a little background noise there. Do you have some headphones? Do you have some earbuds with
I
you?
got the fan on. It's hot. How's that? Is that better? Turn the
A
fan
little
off.
better. I don't want you to be too hot. Do you have the earbuds? Earbuds tend to work pretty good.
How's that sound? That good? I'll find the
That
earbuds too.
that's fine, man. That
Okay,
that
that's good.
sounds
Let's
pretty.
just we'll
Is
stay with that. It's not that hot in here. It's good.
yeah. Okay.
So it's a five out 5 inches of concrete, so it's all nice. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm happy to be here, buddy. What's going on?
And where are we talking to you from?
I'm in Ballston Spa, New York, outside Albany. I have been staying with a friend of mine for the summers. As an entrepreneur, you have to buy. I live on the road. So if there's any chance where you can get a little bit of better rent. So my buddy Matt, he's a painter called MF Paints. He's a sweet guy. He has this place here, which has, if you go this way, he has a bedroom. So I'm in Ballston Spa, New York, which is a suburb of Albany.
Can you
And
spell Ballston? Is it Ballston?
Ballston, second word spa, as in a gym, spa, and then
Yeah.
New York, 12020, Ballston Spa, New York.
And this
Uh,
is where you're calling home now.
yeah, so there's no home. I left New York City. I am completely
You're homeless.
I'm homeless. And then, you know that old joke, what's the best thing about dating a homeless woman?
No, I don't.
You can drop her off anywhere. And that's
I
just
love
kind of
it.
like me, right? You can drop me off anywhere. So, yeah, I left my apartment. I invented Pretty Boy in New York City. And I was in New York City for 17 years, almost 18 years, from the age of 40 to 58 years old. And then my apartment got me sick with mold. I had a beautiful apartment in the East Village, but it got mold. And I started getting sick. And I said, maybe it's a sign to get on the road. So then
We're at in the East Village.
I was on 10th and 2nd Ave.
I'm trying to think of where I was at. I did one project in Manhattan probably 15 years ago. My ex-wife's sister's boyfriend at the time, it's hard to follow, but was one of the founding members of the Blue Man Group.
Oh, sure.
Oddly enough, and he's like a producer type and he lived in the East Village,
That was
and
right beside, that was right where I was, where he was.
and yeah, he had like a 5-story building, and he shared this building. He purchased the building, which is probably worth millions now, but he purchased it with the producer of the Gorillas, the band the Gorillas, and so
Yeah.
they shared this building, and so I went and I met him and we hung out. We were there like for a little bit, and he wanted his like sort of downstairs bedroom area finished. And so I went out there for 2 weeks and did this project. And I talked to the producer guy, I forget his name now, with the Gorillas. I was like, hey man, I'll do a couple walls in your house if I can stay. And so I ended up staying at this enormous by myself, like 2-story, building basically, while I did the project. And I was there for about 2 weeks. It was very intense. I thought I was going to get all this work from it. I was going to become famous and be in New
Sure.
York and stuff. But that was not the case. But that's my New York story. I don't know that I could live there.
That was Astor Place where you were.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Astor Place. And that was named after the Astor family, which is one of the first original families in Manhattan.
Do you know that building that I'm talking about by
Yeah, of
chance?
course. Yeah, of
You
course.
know
Yeah,
you know those characters?
absolutely. I know
Oh,
exactly what you're talking about. It's right on.
Todd Perlmutter is on
I
there.
don't know. I don't know the people, but
Oh,
I know
okay.
exactly because I used to play guitar and play music, and I would meet next door. There was open studios places, and you're right there in NYU. Everything's
Yeah.
NYU. So right where you were was 5 minute walk from where I lived in the East Village.
It was a cool area.
Oh yeah, you were actually officially when you crossed over Fourth Avenue, you were officially into Greenwich Village. So you were in Greenwich Village, the heart of Greenwich Village.
I
Where you
mean,
were.
I could see the allure of New York and all that, but for me personally, it was like, I mean, I'm in New Mexico. It's sparse here. I'm from Washington State originally, but the speed and just the energy was quite a bit. It was quite a bit for me.
It either calls you or it doesn't.
I was like,
So
fuck this.
I was 40 years old. I was painting places in Philadelphia. I lost
Okay.
my job. I'd already had one company with my brothers. It didn't go well. Then I went back to the food business. I hated that. I started painting my buddy's house after 9/11. And about 2 years and 3 years into Philly was a little provincial for me. And somebody said, go to New York City. And I had the opposite experience you did. The second my train came into Penn Station, which is 34th and 8th Avenue, the universe went, and it said, you're coming here.
Yeah.
And a month later, I was a licensed real estate agent.
Okay. All right. Well, let's
go.
back up. Let's back up a little bit. We've got Brian Cooney, Pretty Boy Paint Products, and I like to give a
Pretty Boy Products. There's no paint in there.
just Pretty Boy Products. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to
Pretty Boy
change
Products
that.
LLC.
And I met Brian. First of all, have you caught any episodes of the Drywall Podcast by chance?
Yeah, I watched the one with Paula.
With Paula, okay, that one's actually pretty good. Like she's pretty great. Um, and then the other thing is, so I like you and I met at the Trade Decorator live show in Bolton, England, of all places. My first show in England, and I'm sort of looking at that market. And I remember you were like, "Oh, it's great over here." It's like a really good market. We're going to talk more about the European market, but you were smoking a cigar, and everybody seemed to know who Brian Cooney was, except for me. Uncle Brian. Yeah, everybody calling you Uncle Brian, and we can call you Uncle Brian throughout the rest of the show. I don't care. It's a good, nice name. But that's how you and I met, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then you have these products, and normally we don't have a lot of painters. We have had painters on the show, but it's primarily a drywall podcast, but obviously but we have had all kinds of different people, from the president of Ames Tool Corporation to just your everyday drywaller or painter. We have had a couple painters, so that's the precursor. Let's go back. You said you were originally from Philadelphia.
No, originally I grew up. I was born in Norfolk, Virginia. My dad was a retired military guy. He retired in Virginia Beach, Norfolk area. So I grew up there in the '60s, '70s, and then
East Coast.
East Coast guy. Yeah. So basically, the first 25 years of my life were Virginia Beach and Raleigh, North Carolina. I went to college in Raleigh. Yeah. So that's kind of where I grew up.
Okay, excellent. You were starting to say maybe your mom passed, or you.
Yeah, so my mother passed in '81. My dad took off, and I was the youngest, and basically I was 16 years old. He got remarried and moved 3,000 miles away, and gave me the old 1940s. Good luck, son.
Shut
So
up.
I dropped out of high school and started getting into trouble, and then
Yeah, you were 16. You lost your mother. Your dad's military, but he met somebody.
He was retired. He basically met.
Where'd he go?
He's San Diego, 3,000 miles away.
Okay.
So I was on my own at 17, 18, and
Why didn't you go with him to San Diego?
I wasn't invited.
All right. Well, I mean,
I found that out 30 years later.
Hey, Dad.
My stepmother goes,
I'm ready to
my
go.
stepmother goes, we abandoned you. I'm like, oh, I don't want to bring up 30 years later. But the point I'm trying to say is that what happened was that door shut, and my brother was a gymnast at NC State, and he goes, come to Raleigh. And it opened up a whole new world for me. So I got my college degree.
Your bro was a gymnast.
My brother was a full scholarship.
Collegiate. Wow.
Collegiate, yeah. He was one of the best in the nation for a while.
Wow.
He's one of the first guys throwing the layout double back in the 80s.
I love gymnastics. I think it's fantastic.
I do too.
Okay, great. We're painting a picture, Uncle Brian.
Yeah. So when did I get into painting? Right? How did I get into painting?
No. We ain't there yet, buddy.
We ain't there
yet. No, I because I'm already fascinated. So 16, you don't have anybody but your bro, and he takes care of you a little bit.
No, what happened was, so that my dad got remarried when he started going back and forth to dating this woman in the
Okay.
West Coast. And then he got married in 82. So I was then now 17.
Okay.
And then my brother, then I turned 18 and I was sitting around Virginia Beach without a high school degree. I was a high school dropout with no perspective at all, no prospects. And my brother said, "Hey, you should come to Raleigh. There's a priest here that'll help you relocate." So my brother was very Catholic, and
Okay.
this priest knew all these kids, and that didn't sound good, but he knew all these people, and he said, "We'll help you get here." So literally, they came and picked me up on a Saturday morning and threw me on
And
these guys' couches.
a white van with a bunch of kids in it,
Yeah, yeah, no, no,
came
yeah.
around and scooped you up.
It was a sedan with, and they were all drunk. My brother was drunk, the priest was drunk, and my brother's roommate was drunk, and they all came and got me, and they were like, it was a 3.5 hour ride back to Raleigh, and got me out of Virginia Beach, and all of a sudden now I have this whole new world, and how powerful it was to say, "Here's a fresh start, young man."
Yeah.
I took full advantage of it. I got my GED, and then NC State allowed this thing called lifelong.
Was it like a program? Was it a type of like Catholic program?
No, not at all, not at all. It was just literally the family that worked for the diocese. It was called Our Lady of Lourdes was the church, and it was in Raleigh,
Okay.
North Carolina. And this priest he ended up being it's a long story, but anyway, he was the catalyst to say, "Bring your brother in, and we'll let him stay on somebody's couch until he gets a job and gets set up." And that's what happened. I stayed
Cool.
on these guys' couches, and they were all cooks at a Steak and Ale, which was an '80s chain, like an earlier version of Outback Steakhouse. And I went there and started washing dishes, and then I became a cook, and I became a waiter. I got into college, and then 4 years later, I had an undergrad in business.
Are you in touch with these people today that took care of you
No.
back then? No, you haven't talked to them.
No, no, no. The priest was he got in trouble. He was doing some bad stuff, so he's gone.
Okay.
And all those other guys I lost touch with. Yeah, they're gone.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Time marches on. But you had the foresight to go to college, and at that point you had a inkling for business.
Yeah, it literally happened really quick. When I was washing dishes at that restaurant at 18 years old with no education, I got wet from the dishes, right? And I had to go in the freezer and put up the shrimp.
Okay.
And not only into the walk-in, but into the freezer. And all of a sudden, I come out and I'm literally shaking, and my mind goes, "You don't need education. You're not going to be able to do this level of grinding. You need an education." And right then, boom, I just said, "How do I get an education?" And NC State had a program that let you in part-time till you proved yourself.
Okay. NC State. And then
And
you got what was the degree? What was the degree you got?
business management economics. I
Okay,
was like
smart.
three. I was 3 hours short of a double major. So business management was the actual degree, and it was almost a double major in economics. And
You know, we're going
yeah,
to give you
business
permission.
results.
We're going to give you permission on the Drywall podcast to just say you're a double major
I love it.
because
I love
fuck,
it. Well,
fuck
why just
them.
call me a doctor then? Let's just call me
Sure.
a doctor. I got an MBA. I got an MBA. Yeah,
Well, you're a doctor of paint products.
absolutely. I'm a doctor of life.
We're not there yet. We're not there
I
yet.
love this
All
guy.
right. So
Rob, slow down,
I
son. Slow down.
well, I drive the bus. During the conversation, and if you're listening too, I like this type of conversation because outside of Bolton, England, Brian and I have never talked on the phone. The Drywall podcast sort of peels away the layers of who we are. I was just watching a video, one of your sponsors of your upcoming show. I was watching a video of hers, and she's talking about. It was interesting. She was talking about the difference between knowing somebody in real life and knowing them on social media, and how those and you really don't know somebody until you meet them in real life because people carry energies. And I think one cool thing about a podcast is that it does that. It immediately exposes you for like who you are. I mean, as much as, people can glean from an interview, my job is just sort of to tease out the aspects of Brian, Uncle Brian, that make you who you are. And so that's what I do. And it's fun. I get to do that. And then we get to know each other after this, and we'll be like buds.
Absolutely.
And hopefully.
Absolutely. I'm in.
Okay.
I'm willing. I got to open heart.
We got the East Village thing going.
Well, we got the UK. We'll always have Bolton.
We got Bolton.
Right? You're one of the few Americans that showed up, and they don't realize how incredible that market is. And it's easy to take the country just like that.
We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about, don't jump ahead. Business management degree. You graduate with a business management degree, and what do? You're like, I want to start developing paint products.
So basically, not paint products. Well, here's what I got out at 90.
No.
Eventually, it's underneath the auspice of entrepreneurship, right? My whole goal in life was to create passive income so I could live anywhere in the world. I don't want to get stuck in America. I don't want to get stuck in a state. I don't want to get stuck in anything I can't be free of. I don't care about money, but you need money to be free, a certain level of money. And it's eluded me my whole life. I've gotten close. So I get out of college and I have a good personality. I'm an extrovert, and everybody says, you're going to be a salesman. So for the next year or two, I was pushed into sales corporate jobs. And it ended up me training in Los Angeles for Cisco Foods a year or two after I graduated. And I was miserable. I was also doing stand-up comedy, which was the dichotomy of it. Because the stand-up was completely free. Did whatever you want to do, get up on stage, and then all of a sudden here I am with corporate America going. And so I just couldn't do it.
Where were you doing stand-up?
Mostly through the Raleigh area and in Chapel Hill, and I was traveling around, but mostly through this one club, a big one. It was called Charlie Goodnights. And ironically enough, I became friends with Ken Jeong, which was the guy from The Hangover.
Yeah.
Him and I became friends. Now, he probably wouldn't know me now. But basically, when I went down to Atlanta one time to do the big set, they weren't letting me in. Ken said, he's with me. And I got to go on stage in front of 350 people. And that was the last night on stage. He made that happen because he was wonderful. I know, it's cool. It's a cool story.
I'll bet you he would remember you.
Who knows? But anyway.
Yeah, who knows? Can you give me a small excerpt of what I might hear if I went to an Uncle Brian comedy show? Do you remember one bit?
Yeah, the Japanese workers say that American workers are lazy and unproductive. My reply to the Japanese is, you try drinking until 4 o'clock in the morning, see what kind of car you can build the next day.
I love it.
There you go.
I love it, dude. You are a natural. And so I sort of agree with maybe your sort of the people that were just telling you that you could be a good salesman. You sort of have that quality about you. But it didn't work out with Cisco. You didn't like doing like I like selling my product. That's different
Totally
than like
different
me
thing. Totally
getting a
different
fucking
thing.
sales. I'm not going to go out and get a sales job. Like
Exactly.
screw that.
Well, the thing was,
thanks.
I didn't know who I was. You get out of college, and all of a sudden you're 25, 24 years old, and literally when I trained at Cisco Foods, they put us in a hotel on Sunday night, and they ran us all week long at the corporate office in LA. We were in like Pomona, California, up in the hills. And by the time we got done with 3 months, we graduated, and I was mentally ill because I was being held by this force of, you're going to go up this corporate ladder, and I'm a free spirit. And I didn't know who I was. But by the end of it, I was literally physically and mentally sick. And I said, I can't do this. And I told my dad, I want to start my own company.
Well, and you're eating all that Cisco food, which is probably not good for you.
Right,
Now
right.
I have this ongoing joke, like you've got like all these like crappy restaurants, Sizzler and all this processed food, and I'm always like, it's all Cisco, man. You always see the Cisco truck parked out front,
Absolutely.
delivering. They just prepare it differently, man.
Different
Ah,
wrinkle on it.
go
Just
get some more.
take it out of the
Yeah,
tin foil, put it into the JP dish.
peel the
Fail tray.
cellophane
Oh,
off.
it came out of
Heat,
the oven.
heat it up. Heat it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. Okay. But you probably did get some good sales knowledge, I would imagine. And so now you've got like business and sales, a little bit of a sales background. What do we
No.
do? Where are we going now?
So I went back to waiting tables, and then what I did was that my brothers and I come from a big family. Two of my brothers and I were at a Thanksgiving in '92. So right after I got back, I went back to the East Coast. I was in Atlanta, came up for Thanksgiving, and my oldest my Daniel and Johnny and I were together. And Daniel said, bodybuilders are eating baby food before they go on stage. And my brother and I, Johnny, were doing triathlons. And we came up with this idea of this product in that sitting of that weekend in '92, Carboom. So
Yeah, we're just gonna
Carboom
take
was,
baby food, put it into a smaller container.
yeah. So what happened was basically we kind of knew the baby food wasn't going to work, but we liked the idea. When
Yeah.
you did a triathlon, you either had Gatorade or you had a power bar. And when you're traveling in after 2.5 hours of working out, the average triathlon takes like 2.5 hours. You're out of workable glucose. You're bonking.
Okay.
So anyway, that was the first entrepreneurial thing. So I launched at 27 years old. I started a company with my brothers, and we developed Carboom.
You were
That
27.
I was 27 years old. We started Carboom. So we
Great
raised
name.
money.
Great name.
Yeah,
Car
carbohydrate
boom.
explosion, Carboom. It's still on the market. It's still on the market. Somebody bought the company. So
Wow.
anyway, that was my brothers and I, and so that was where that frustration came out of. It went right into the entrepreneur. I put my money where my mouth was. I took a chance. I got on the high wire. We raised money from friends and family, all the shit. You don't know what you're doing. You're not trained to do
Yeah.
anything, and you go out there and you just get crushed. Boom, boom. You
I
just
heard
make mistake
another
after mistake.
I heard another excerpt where like entrepreneurs are dumb. Like because like if you're a smart person like and you knew and you did all the planning and you knew all the pain in the ass that you would run into, like a smart person just wouldn't take those risks. But a dumb person like so you kind of have to be a little foolish. And I was like, yeah, that's true.
Well, the smart person also could lose their job at 50, and they could lose their job at 50 without any just thing of their self. So the point is, there is no safe route.
Yeah,
I
a
think
smart person could be on their deathbed and being like, "I wish I would have started that
yeah,
idea."
exactly. But the main thing is you have to die playing the music in your heart. Your
That's
heart
right.
tells you. Your heart tells you who you are. It's whether you want to listen or not. It always does. And that's when you get out of your ego mind, you get into your heart or get into your gut. The three kind of decision makers are your head, your heart, your gut. And if you're not listening to these, then you're screwed. Then you're gonna blow up. That's the midlife crisis. What am I doing? Why am I
Yeah.
married? I didn't even want to have kids, and why am I doing here in Texas? I hate this place. It's too hot. And so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
You
you
know what I
really
was
got
gonna say? I always think about like the health, like additives, because I listened to Tim Ferriss a little bit. I'm not sure if you know who that is. Tim Ferriss, the 4 Hour Work Week guy. He's got a great podcast too, by the way. I mean, but he's really hyper intelligent person.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And his first product was a supplement, and he crushed it. He just crushed it out of the gate, 20 something, you
I
know.
did not crush it. We did the opposite. I
But
want you to picture.
you
I want
sold
you.
you sold the company though.
Nah, not really. Basically, what happened was there was there was we knew we had to move the company. We started in East Coast, and we knew we had to move the company out where the endurance athletes were, which is Southern California. And we had some experience with Southern California because my dad was military and my brother was military. So we knew San Diego, and we knew that was the place. But the middle brother, the oldest brother that came up with the idea, the original idea, didn't want to go. He wanted to get married and stay. So my other brother and I went, and we just weren't a good match.
Yeah.
We were just
no partners.
No, one kind of ship that doesn't float, partnership.
Before I was even an entrepreneur, my dad was like, "Don't ever partner with anybody." And I was like,
I love that. I wish I had that advice.
And I never.
My dad was get a real job. Get a
Your dad wasn't even there. He was in San Diego.
Get a real job.
Okay, so doesn't work out with Carb Boom. What happens next? What do you do next? But now you've got the bug. You're like, man, that was fun. I want to do that again.
So what happened was, yeah, exactly. So I get out of there, and you're all kind of messed up because you've lost everybody's money, and you're fighting with your brother. And then basically with me is I went back to the food business because that's all I knew. And I guess in the long story short, I started coming up on 40 years old.
Okay.
I said, that's when I got the bug. So I celebrated my 40.
Are you working in hospitality? I mean, are you doing like cook,
waiter manager? Waiter manager.
Okay, you'd fall back. But and you can do that. Like, I feel like that's a kind of a good fallback thing, Yeah,
it is until you can't be nice to anybody anymore because you're so burned out with it. I started when I was 12. I was a busboy when I was 12.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was a waiter
also construction as well. But like if you learn a trade, I sort of tell people, like, not that you have to, and it's not for everybody, but if you learn a trade, you can always fall back on that trade. It's good to have a skill set.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So when I got out of the car boom business, my brother took it over. He took it over, and we couldn't work together. He took it over in 2000. So 2001, I went back to the food business, and I went from Texas with Macaroni Grill. And then I got hired on the world's largest paddle wheel, the Mississippi River. So I was a food and beverage director, and that's when it blew up in 9/11. 9/11 came, and the jobs were over. So all of a sudden, you're sitting without your job, and my buddy says, "Come paint my house." So now I'm 37 years old, and I'm painting my buddy's house in Philly. And right away, 2002, I loved it. It was quiet. It was entrepreneurial. And immediately I went into the Benjamin Moore, the Riccardi brothers, right down the street on this main strip called Germantown Avenue. And I said, how do you clean a latex brush? And the guy said to me in 2002, use Dawn dish soap. I said, great. And I started using it. And immediately, because I had the experience of Car Boom as an entrepreneur, I said, this is the wrong product. Why isn't there a paint soap for latex? You got all these latex. And not only did he say that.
Wait. Why didn't you like the Dawn soap to clean the brushes, though?
You tell us it's the wrong product. It wasn't taking off all the latex, and it was adding fat wax and lanolins.
You haven't painted, though. You don't know the difference.
I knew it right away. I could see the cottage cheese effect. Okay. I'm an entrepreneur. You could tell that the brush was going through. It wasn't taking it should have just taken it off perfect.
Yeah. You were like, why? You were like, why is this not cleaning?
Why is this not the right? And then all of a sudden, you would paint the next day, and then the paint would start that cottage cheese effect on the side of the bristle. And that was because you're adding the Dawn soap, which has the cheap way to moisturize Mrs. Johnson's hands. So not only is it the wrong product, but so I was like, I had the idea. I said, somebody's got to create a paint soap, because the guy at the store said, by the way, this is what he said. He said, all this oil is going away. And in 20 years, it's all going to be latex. And here we are, 20 years later. And he was right. All the oil's gone.
Was that I'm sorry, you may have said, was that an oil-based paint that you were cleaning?
No, latex.
It was a latex paint.
It was a Benjamin Moore.
Why is Because you're not using what do you normally use to clean oil paint? Just out of
Oh,
curiosity.
you would do thinner. I didn't touch oil for a while. I just
Okay.
so I start with my buddies. I start with my,
I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out the significance behind him telling you that it's all going latex. Like,
because the significance was that they had a judgment in the Northeast. Pennsylvania had to get rid of a majority of the spirit, the oil out of the paint. So they'd come in that year and said, this oil paint has got too much oil in it. It's too toxic. You're going to have to remove most of it. So they knew the writing was on the wall, and the main three states, which is New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and
they
Texas.
they don't have a latex paint cleaning product in that, like orange. There's that orange shit where you can but like they didn't have like a soap that painters could take and clean their brushes with.
No,
Okay.
zero. In fact, they still
That's
don't.
a
Pretty Boy is
that's
the only one. There's a couple of different ones now with the cloth and then
okay.
Crud Cutter has a latex cleaner, but I'm the
Okay.
only one that actually also has a hair conditioner. So
And you're the prettiest, which
mine the
let's not
prettiest.
let's
Yeah.
not let's not diminish
Let's not
that.
mix words. But yeah, so that entrepreneurial, the rebel met its match.
Yeah.
So I didn't move on the idea. I just started painting.
Yeah.
And for years, I just thought about the idea, and I got more and more frustrated.
You filed that away though? You filed that
I kept,
idea?
well, not even did I far away. I realized what was the best out there, which was the Mrs. Myers was the highest end soap out there, and that did a little bit better job of cleaning the brushes. It was always based on the brush, because I love my brushes, and I would buy these real nice brushes, and I'd have my oil brushes, and I'd have my latex brushes. And
Yeah.
I'd buy the really good Worcesters or Purdy's back in those days, and it was just I was very.
What's your favorite brush now, real quick? What do you like?
My distributor access to
Speak freely. Speak
Yeah,
freely. You're
and
on the Drywall Podcast.
I am. So I think some of the English brushes and Australian brushes are the best. I like my distributor that you met, Access Decor. They make a silk touch. That's great.
Right.
The Paint Warrior, which is the biggest guy over there. You didn't meet him, unfortunately. He wasn't at the trade show. He makes a great brush, the Paint Warrior. And Monarch is made in Australia. That's a
I
great
was gonna
brush.
say they had
Monarch's
some
a really good
good they had
brush.
some good knives too. Like they had some good products. I was pretty impressed with those guys.
Oh, and my distributor, Access.
No,
Or Monarch.
Monarch,
Which
yeah,
one?
and
Monarch,
Monarch.
yeah. Monarch.
I didn't talk.
So
I didn't
yeah.
talk to the Axis guys too much, but I did talk to the Monarch a little bit. I remember this is my first trip over, so I'm just meeting everybody sort of for the first time, trying to get to know everyone.
It was overwhelming, right? A little bit overwhelming.
I like that. I mean, it's not my first time to England. I've been hanging out with the GWI guys for a while, and they're fun as hell. So it's just like, oh, I just get to meet more of these great people.
I love them. I mean,
Yeah.
I find the people from England, Ireland, and Canada a little bit more present than Americans. There's a little less. Let me tell you what I'm doing with my life. Whereas they're more like, who are you? So
Yeah.
they're a little bit more engaged, and it's refreshing. You
Yeah.
notice it right away, and they always do what they say they're going to do. Because in America, American guys would be like, you walk out of the airport and they're not there. Dude, I flaked. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that's like an excuse an American guy can use. Whereas the English guy is like, he's there. He's there. And you saw there's guys that you depended on, right?
Well, it's
And
funny.
once-
It's funny because I showed up at the airport and Ben was going to pick me up. He couldn't make it. He sent his guy from the shop to Heathrow to pick me up.
and they were there, right?
Yeah, he was
Isn't that
there.
great? We left a cigar case in this guy's car, and he went an hour and a half north of or south of Belfast, and he drove back.
And there wasn't one cigar in that case. Yes,
Well,
I
he
don't know
smoked
what
cigars. I mean, it's
I
only
don't know.
human.
I don't know what happened to the cigars.
Me no know.
Cool. Okay. So,
So
but there is a moment of time. There's a little bit of a gap between. Oh, you were talking about Myers. Not
so I
not
had the
my
idea. Yeah, Myers
uh,
soap. Yeah, Myers.
Myers soap. Why does one soap clean a brush better than another soap?
I
At
think it
that
had
point,
less of those fats. The problem is the latex and the Meyer, whatever. These soaps, these dish soaps they only have 4 to 6% surfactants. And
right,
they're gonna knock off some more of the latex
right.
than just water alone, right? They're gonna be better than because they're a surfactant. They're gonna agitate.
Okay.
But the Dawn soap is the cheap soap. These guys are Procter and Gamble. They'll dress their mother up in a chicken suit if they can get $1.50 a pound for her. That's how
Okay.
cheap these guys
All
are.
right.
So they add the nastiest stuff, which is fat, wax, and lanolins. So that way, when you wash your dishes, Mrs. Johnson goes, "Oh, my hands feel so soft." It's just
Yeah.
fat.
Yeah.
And that is something you don't want on the brush. So Mrs. Myers naturally has a better formula. It has a little bit more of nicer oils. So then I was like, okay, that's a little bit better. So anyway, I had the
But
idea.
you don't need any of those sort of lotion type product. You just want to clean the brush.
I want to clean the brush and I want to bring it back to normal. And so as an entrepreneur, you start moving on it. You can't help who you are.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you say, okay, dish soap, Dawn doesn't work. Let me try palm olive. Let me try Mrs. Myers. Let me mix some shampoo. I started doing it right away.
Crazy.
2002. I
Yeah.
started doing it right away. And so anyway, I had the idea and now I'm coming up on 40 years old and I get the introduction to New York City. And I say, New York City, I'm coming. And at 40 years old, I moved to New York City. And it changes my whole life. And my friends all stay back in Philly. And I do the big jump. I take I put all my marbles. I sell my car. I burn the boats. That's the key to success. You got to burn the boat. And they were all saying behind my back, "You're never going to make it. You're never going to make it. You're never
You
going to make
have
it."
to be willing to burn the boats. So a friend of mine recently was trying to do it with like in finance. He was going
Sure.
out on his own and I was like, he's got the nice truck. He's coming from the big financial firm. He's got the clients. Well, when you leave a financial firm, you don't get any of your clients for like 3 years or some shit. They got them on lockdown. And one, he was looking to me for advice because I've been like, hustling for 20 years. And I was like, be prepared to like lose that truck. Be prepared to mortgage your house. You be prepared to like give it all away for this. Otherwise, just
That your
stay
girlfriend's going to leave you.
just stay at the firm. Don't do it. Seriously. Like don't do it. Be prepared to sleep on a couch. And not have a nice
Unless
not
you're
have a
not
nice
prepared
car.
to, if you're like that was great advice because
Yeah.
what you did was that's almost a different version of Mike Tyson's. Everybody's got a plan to get punched in the face, right? And that's what you were saying. Hey, do me. I always say. Here's what I say. I say when you're an entrepreneur and you can't take another step, you're out of money, you're mentally burnt, you're fried, your nerves are frazzled, you're living in your buddy's basement. If you can go 2 or 3 years from that point, you're probably going to make it. That's the level
True.
of being ground down, and you got to keep going and keep going until your imagination. And the thing is, that philosophy of trying to create your beautiful Walt Disney world. We're all trying to create our own world. You have to let the other guy die, as you're saying. And like you said, you got to let that truck go. You got to let that truck go. Because that truck's like $1,000 a month, and you ain't going to have it. And the wine and dining women, gone.
Well, or
What do you
even if you do have it and you can afford it, it's not. I'd rather put that $1,000 back into my business now.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. It's just it's a different mindset, and I mean, ultimately, you realize, oh, I'm not chasing. I'm there. This is me. This is what I'm doing. Like, oh, I've arrived.
I love that. You're like me. You're like this is who I am, and I don't want to
Yeah,
be anybody else.
I
And then you
love it.
build from there. And then if you're lucky enough, then you start getting paid financially.
Right,
Start
right. The
getting
money's secondary.
the money's secondary. The freedom
But
is primary.
yeah, you have this idea, you're playing around with different products. You don't know anything about soaps and shit though. Like,
Yeah,
do you
so let
start
me.
talking to people? How does the first bottle of Pretty Boy come to be?
All right. So just to back up, the little thing we're missing
Yeah.
is it's called sobriety.
Ah,
So I
okay.
run this. I run this. I go to Manhattan and I go nuts. So between 40 and 49 years old, I drink every night and I party like a rock star. And then all of a sudden, the wheels start coming off.
It's no
So
fun to party in New York.
it's a great time. So you have everybody's living room is the bar, right? So I'm
Yeah.
having a blast. I'm having the time of my life. I'm telling my jokes in the bar, and all my girlfriends are drinkers, and all my golf buddies are drinkers, and we're all hanging out in this bar called Walker's, which was right across the street from the Ghostbusters firehouse, right beside it.
Cool.
And it was so much fun. And then all of a sudden, I start blacking out.
Uh,
And I start blacking out real bad, and then all of a sudden, I get into altercations, and I have to realize I have to stop. So I do. I get lucky enough. I have the strength. It was time to do it. I stopped, and I kind of did 2 years of yoga and meditation and self
you didn't
discovery.
did you go to AA or anything?
Did some AA.
Okay.
I did India. I did yoga teacher training. I did meditation. I did
But
everything.
you were so clean, sober, like
2.5 years later, I'm in India,
okay.
sober.
Okay.
So now I'm 52 years old. I get sober at 49.
Okay.
And then that's when I'm in Nepal. Then I did 3 weeks in India and 3 weeks in Nepal. And by the time I'm in Nepal, I'm looking at Mount Everest and I'm like, I could see that everybody was diving off into the abyss. They were in the pray part of their eat, pray, love. They were in the pray part. They were going to leave everything behind and leave their ego behind. And I'd already done it. I'd already been 2.5 years into prayer. I meditated every night. I did yoga every day. I studied with Buddhists. I studied with shaman. I
Great.
chanted. I did everything I could do to get the trauma out that was making me drink like this.
Okay.
And I did it. And all
Okay.
of a sudden, I'm standing there now present. And I said, it's time to go back to America and build a brand again. You ready to do this now? And then I said, what do I got on my plate? And as an entrepreneur, you have your swatches of ideas always in front of you. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you got 6 ideas, 8 ideas. And I said, that paint soap. This 2016. I said, that paint
Yeah.
soap, that's probably what I need to do. So then I came back and I started working on it. And the first thing I did was find the chemist that we started in
Yeah.
2017. So that took 3 months to find the chemist. And so when we found the chemist, him and I was a painter in New York City. I was painting apartments, and I was very lucky because he would give me about this much, and he would say, of course, and we'd start, and I would clean my brushes with it. I always did the brushes. And after about 9 formulas, the brush opened wide up it was like you stuck your finger in a light socket. And I showed it to him. I took a picture of it. And he goes, okay, now it's time to add the conditioner. So him and I developed Pretty Boy over 9 months between January 1st of 2017 and September. And we had the formula. We had the Pretty Boy formula as it is now.
Yeah, but that still doesn't matter. You got to sell the shit.
Well, then it took another year to come up with the name,
Cisco.
trademark.
You go back to
Cisco.
Cisco. You get your buddies.
Yeah, right, right. Well, the chemist had some connections, so we started with his, which were great. They were cheap and they worked, but and then so
Well,
we
and
created.
you had connections though too, though, because you had been buying paints at local paint shops, I assume, and so maybe you had some connections in New York where you could take this product and be like, "Hey, man, check this out. What do you think?"
I did that, and the door shut so fast on my face it
Yeah,
broke my nose. So
get out of here! Get out of here
yeah,
with your soap, pretty boy.
Bacoa was the distributor. They were everything in Manhattan, and I
Okay.
and I wined and dined them, so to speak. I called them, emailed them, and
Yeah.
I sent them a case of this, and they never returned my phone calls. I went into the paint store called Janovics, and I showed him a bottle, the buyer. He goes, too cartoonish, shit'll never sell. So that was it. They were done, and nobody wanted it. And you're just like, holy shit, what do I do?
Well,
and that was 2018. And
that was the punch
right in the face. And then all of a sudden, I was doing my yoga, and this real cute girl said to me, "You ever heard of Instagram?" And this is before Mark Zuckerberg owned it. It had the old logo.
Right.
And 2018, the end of it, I got an account in December 2018. 2019, I just started giving it away. So there was Johnny Dater, the happy painter. There was Sam, the right painter. And I was sending these guys bottles, and then they started using it. And that's how it started. And I was selling it online, and I added a wire brush to it. And I started making some other products. I bought this guy's patent to make the shield covers to protect your brush. And I started coming up with the idea of selling packages.
Was the Pretty Boy name already there, or how did that come to be?
So yeah, that's a great story. So when I got back from that trip I told you, that life-changing trip to India and Nepal, I went out and got a Purdy brush, 2.5-inch angle. It was brand new. And I was getting ready to meditate. I meditate every night. It's part of my sobriety. And I'm looking at the brush, and I'm thinking, my product's going to make it beautiful. So when you get done painting, you're going to clean up with this product. I had no name. So, and then I kept looking at the angle. I kept thinking of Vanilla Ice. I kept thinking of Vanilla Ice, the rapper.
Yeah. Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. I kept thinking about it. And I did my meditation, and I'm sitting there. I usually do a 20-minute meditation. You set your timer on your phone. And right after minute 10, the words came in. Pretty Boy. And I stopped and opened my eyes, and I went, holy shit, that's something there.
Yeah.
There's something there. Because I never had pretty and I never had boy. It came through the subconscious.
Good.
And that was the beauty of meditating. That's the beauty of falling. And I was like, there's got to be something there. And most everybody liked it.
Yeah.
So then I drew the logo, and I had my brother, stepson, he was a graphic artist, and we started that idea, and the logo has evolved through many graphic artists. But yeah, the idea
What about the Uncle Brian? Where does that come from?
Uncle Brian comes from Dane, because Dane is the Carlson Paint and Paper. He's one of the big influencers out there, and he used to go, I'm in the paint fam with the paint. I'm in the paint van with the paint fam. So he kind of started the paint fam, and at one point, him and I lived together. And I needed to play when I left New York City. I told you I left New York City in 2022, and I went into the abyss. I burned the boats. Yeah. And at one point, I'm living with him in Long Island, painting with him, and we're doing videos together, and we're learning how to make videos and how to be a content creator. And he just starts calling me Uncle Brian because I'm 30 years older than all those guys.
Right.
I'm in my late 50s at the time, and they're in their late 20s, early 30s.
Right.
So everybody starts calling me Uncle Brian, and it stuck. So when I went to England the first time in 2023, they're already calling me Uncle Brian.
Love it.
And I actually have a product now, which I haven't launched, called Uncle Brian's.
Beautiful.
So I just unfortunately don't have the money to go full brand on this yet.
What's the product that you're looking to launch? If you want to talk about it, you can hold back if you don't want to talk about it.
No. I mean, no. The thing that you realize is that you really have to bring your company up to $1 million company before you start launching peripheral stuff. So that's the goal, is to get this up to $1 million. There is some interest in this, and I won't deny it. But it's the same formula, same company.
Okay.
Just what happened was that everybody started using this. So this helped me refocus back to my main brand, which is Pretty Boy. So now I'm in 4 countries with this. I'm in Ireland, England, Canada, US, and I just got my new distributor. They're called All Pro. And so now I have 2 distributors in America. And this is now in, 500 paint stores now. And
fantastic.
So it's starting to go. But like you said, the same shit you're doing. It's the absolute grind of all grinds of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. They start selling it. Oh, we're not selling it anymore. This guy bought our company. We don't want to carry that anymore. Oh, let's get more of this. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've gone ultra slow. it's a little different model than what people would probably suggest to me or how I should do it, all that shit. You just got to do it the way you can do it.
It's got to be in your heart. It's got to be in
And
your heart. Exactly.
I beat myself up plenty, you can imagine. But
Yeah,
like,
we all do.
you
We
know,
all do.
you can't get so wrapped up in that fucking story of like, I'm not good enough. I shouldn't be. What are you doing? You know, and it's funny too, because I hear like celebs, Ben Stiller, is like, like they still have it. They still have that little voice. It's like, you're gonna ruin the scene. You're gonna ruin this movie, and it's ingrained. And I think another aspect of entrepreneurialism is being able to sort of suppress that voice and move forth. Like, no, I'm just gonna keep going. Like, okay, I hear you. You've been telling me this for 20 years. It's still not true. I'm gonna keep going. you
That's
know.
the reptilian. What it is the reptilian mind. It's the reptilian mind, and that's
Yeah.
why you have to have the heart and the. That's why a daily meditation is great, because what happens, it gets you out of there and gets you down here.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is where it's sustainable in your heart. Your heart's willing to do the work, and it's willing to say, if it takes a lifetime, it takes a lifetime. Your head's like, what are we doing? You're crazy. We're gonna
Yeah.
lose everything. And you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you can't back to sleep till 5 because you're just spinning.
Yeah.
We've
Do
been there. We've
you
all been there a
sell
million times.
do you sell online?
Yeah,
Can
I got a
people
guy that sells for me on Amazon, and I'm looking
Is
to
that
sell on.
challenging to like sell online and sell in retailers? Do the retailers get pissy about you selling online? How do you navigate that?
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't sell it direct anymore. So if I was to sell it direct, I could sell it for better than anybody. So what I do is
Right.
I sell it to a guy that sells it online. It's way too expensive. So as long as it's more expensive than theirs, they don't care.
Right.
So the best deal, of course, is Sherwin, because they're the biggest company. They don't need the biggest markup. Then the Benjamin Moores, sell it for like 12 a bottle. Sherwin sell it for like a 10.90, 10.75, sometimes
Okay.
$9. And then online it's 16.95.
Okay.
So
Now, one thing I've been itching to ask you about
yeah,
is so it's obviously a better paintbrush cleaning product than anything on the market. Um, these drywall guys that are dumping soap into their mud. Now, there's a
sure,
huge debate in the drywall world or dry lining world
sure,
about
sure.
people
Take the
dumping
bubbles, right?
soap. It takes whatever it does. I was never a dump, soap into the mud guy. There's lots of additives for mud. Have you had drywallers use Pretty Boy in mud, and what's the feedback?
I love it. I
They
love it.
love it.
I love it because it's whatever they're trying to do. This again, the dish soap is only 3 to 5% surfactants. This is 25%. So when you're adding this to your mud, you're adding something that's 5 times the concentration of the Dawn. So
Okay.
whatever you're looking for, it's going to be 5 times more powerful.
You could use a little less of this if
Well, you could use a
you're
little
inclined.
less, just a few drops, and I guess whatever they're trying to do is get a creamier product.
And have you sort of sent some of this to some of the drywall community? Have you like delved into that world? Because I honestly I don't know my listenership, but there's a bunch. People do listen to the drywall podcast. They're probably going to be curious about Pretty Boy products after this comes out for my listeners that do add soap to
Yeah.
mud. Um, have you gone into that marketing
No,
world?
no.
No.
What you realize is that you chase too many rabbits, you get none. So there's a guy that makes like the closest
Oh,
I've got,
right.
because
There's a
Pretty Boy.
conditioner. There's a like a
Well,
conditioner guy.
Pretty Boy can clean the job site before, can keep you clean as you go, and then it can clean the tools at the end. There's a guy that sells that bucket lid that goes inside the 5 gallon,
Yeah.
about half a
Yeah.
gallon. You can
Yep.
soak tools. I've been trying to get a hold of him to put one squirt in there, because that way you can expedite the cleaning process. So if you were to sit there and put all your muddy tools in there, and with the Pretty Boy in there, then the cleaning process is cut down and so much quicker. So when you soak those things in there and you're soaking them in just water, or maybe just dish soap, then they're going to clean up. But Pretty Boy, they're going to clean up faster, and
Well,
they'll
and
have
fun fact about drywall tools too. They're like good drywallers will keep their tools really clean, but they'll spray them off with WD. Fun fact, and that keeps the mud from, especially on the blue steel knives, it'll keep it from screwing up your steel
I
on the
love
knife.
that. I love
Yeah, yeah.
that. Well,
Fun
Pretty Boy
fact.
has a conditioner, so that it would be conditioner, but nobody's ever said, "Hey, the conditioner helps me with the mud." They don't say that. They say, "I clean my tools with it. I keep myself clean."
Okay.
There's a bunch of drywallers who love my product, and they spray it in a bucket, one squirt makes a gallon, and they keep the rags with them, and they keep the tools clean as they go, and they clean
Okay.
the job site. So Pretty Boy is phenomenal for a carpenter or a mudder or anybody that has to clean. Instead of using a crud cutter, which is toxic, instead of using a TSB, which is toxic.
What do you mean a crud cutter?
Crud cutter is the number one kind of degreaser that a lot of painters use. They're
Oh,
degreasing with it, and it's got a pH of 13. So you're literally spraying oven cleaner on your doors. Is it
okay.
going to clean the grease? Of course. But then again, it has what we call reflux. It might not come away from the surface. It also can break the wood down, and it can also affect the adhesion of the paint when you're ready to do it.
Okay.
So Pretty Boy can become this contractor's soap, meaning they can clean their hands with it, they can clean their skin with it, they can clean the job site with it, they clean the spills with it. So the mud guy, can use it to expedite his flow of his job.
Sure.
Anytime he stops the mud, he can go into that 5 gallon bucket, and he can take the rag out with the little sudsy Pretty Boy and clean his tools up, and he's not hurting his hands. So he just
Right.
boom, boom, boom. He's bringing the soap on there, and a lot of drywallers paint, so they're always crossing over. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So they're
True.
all very a lot. You rarely see guy just drywalling unless he's got a major company. He usually drywalls, and then every third job, yeah, the money's right. And there you go. You
Yeah.
got Pretty Boy
No,
right there.
that's true. We have a lot of drywallers slash painters for sure.
Yeah, that's it. Hey guys, Pretty Boy, use it for
Enter promo code Drywall Podcast.
Pretty Boy products.
I don't do promo codes, but I'll bet if you haven't used Pretty Boy, I'll bet you Uncle Brian will send you a batch. Maybe.
Hell no, it's too expensive to send anybody anything. If they open up a shop, I'll send the shop some samples.
Let's talk about that a little
Just to
bit.
send a sample, just to send one of these samples. You know how much it costs to send one sample in the mail?
I do because
like
I
five-
send
It's
samples.
probably $5 or $6.
I send a color chart, so the fucking package has to be 9 by 11. I do the one rate, I do the FedEx one rate, but I'll send a whole color pack, sample sealer. Yeah.
I mean, I send samples all the time. If a guy calls me and he's got a big following, and he's
There you
gonna,
go.
but the problem is, the more somebody wants something free, the less likely they're going to do anything with it. So
Dude, we
the guy
talk
told me
about
that.
it. We talk about that on the podcast a little bit, like the dynamics of influencers and at what point, because you have somebody like ordering a product and they're like, "Hey man, what's my discount?" And it's like, "Dude, I got to pay for my kid's soccer. The
Yeah,
fuck?"
exactly. That kind of person is really not the client you want.
Yeah.
Because then he
I'm like,
gets upset.
no.
Then he gets upset. You
Yeah.
have to be very careful how you respond. Hey man, send me some samples and I'll do some videos. And I feel like saying, do you see the 5,700 videos that are already up there? Do you
Well,
need-
yeah, and then I go look at his account and I'm like, "I've posted more than you, dude." Come
You're still
on.
living in your mom's basement in Skokie, Illinois.
Yeah. So I'm a jerk. I'm kind of a jerk when it comes to some things. Like I'm very non-diplomatic, but I think too that's what makes the podcast kind of gritty and fun.
I love
So
it.
whatever. I want it to be like honest and authentic. We're getting a true sense of who Brian Cooney is. The man behind Uncle Brian and Pretty Boy and this facade, and also kudos for your marketing and your sales. 500 stores is amazing. I did want to bring up you are having this show and this is really interesting to me because you have some specialty wall finish people there as well, which gets into my realm. You saw Fresco Harmony from the show. And it's free. Your advertisers are paying for it. I saw. That's cool. Like people can just go learn about new products, be with other people in the industry. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so when I launched Pretty Boy in 2018, 19, it wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't selling very much. I think I sold like $7,000 the first year. And I was at the end of 2019, somebody asked me to come down to Atlanta. I won't name the names, but they said, we're going to buy your company. We're going to buy your company. And I thought,
Beautiful.
okay, this is great. Maybe I'll talk to them. So, of course, they don't pay for my flight. I pay for my flight. I pay for my hotels. And I go to this show with them. They're all at the True Value show. And
Nice.
I'm looking at this massive display. I mean, this is pre-COVID. And there's got to be 200 booths there. And I'm like, and then the guy looks at me and he says, we're going to give you 15% net for the company, but you still got to ship the product. And I was just sitting there like, what? It's 50% net? I still got to, what are you going to do besides take all the money? So I get upset and I leave out. I got really upset. And I said, you know what? I gotta really do this. It kind of woke me up to getting really going at it. And so right away I saw this guy have a go-kart race. Edward with Pro Tall. Him and his dad's 6'10", he's 6'6", so they're called Pro Tall. And they're great guys from New Jersey, and they had a go-kart race with a bunch of painters. And I thought, that's it. I grew up in the food business, let's bring painters together. So it started in 2020 at a bar in New Jersey, like 12 of us. Then 2021, we're still in the COVID era, it's like 25 guys in a restaurant in New Jersey. 2022, we bring it outside and add families. And it's still called the Contractor Get Together. There's no name.
Okay.
2023, my dad says, you should call it the Pretty Boy Barbecue Bash. And I said, I went to Jazz Fest every year for years. I said, no, let me call it Pretty Boy Paint Festival. So that's when I came up with the 5 Knobs of Death competition. And we had the first one where it was the Pretty Boy Paint Festival. And we competed with each other. And that was then it became 2 days, barbecue on the first day. And the second day was a fest. So now here we are, 4 more later, we're in year 7. We have free training on the Friday the 24th. We're in Ithaca, New York. We're sponsored by Benjamin Moore, Airworthy, Titan, and Meldrum's Paint. And
Wait,
then
how'd you get these sponsors? Because you sell at these locations, so you talk to the right person. You're like, hey man, Pretty Boy Paint Festival's coming up. You guys getting a spot over here?
Well, they all evolved, right? The guy,
Yeah.
the guy that ran Airworthy, the head sales guy, his name is Chris Gooden, and he saw me online. Everybody sees you working your ass off online.
Yeah.
So that you become a little bit different. Like, okay, this guy's working on, he's going somewhere. So everybody wanted to jump on board whatever I did. And
Okay.
They tried it. So when we went into New Jersey in 2021, Airworthy guy came out and gave me like $500. And I was like,
Cool.
wow, $500.
Yeah.
And then he also gave out all these rollers and brushes. I said, that's
Beautiful.
cool. Then another girl did it with another paint store. So we had I had $1,000 the first time. Then 2021, we got more money. 2022, then all of a sudden Ben Moore Titan comes on, and so now we've got those. And then when I'm going to do a West Coast one next year. Then we'll have different sponsors in the West Coast. So basically, what it is bringing painters together, and it's all free for them. And now they'll go through the experience of getting out of their. Basically they're following the Instagram people, Facebook people. They get to meet them. They get to meet everybody.
Yeah.
So if you were coming, you could come in on Thursday night, the 23rd, get in the hotel or camp out. Some people are camping. And Friday morning, we're going to have the classes, the free classes. So we'll have the lime wash at 9. We'll have the epoxy course at 11. And we'll have the free wallpaper at noon. Then
Was that the same epoxy guy in Bolton?
No, different guy.
No, Different epoxy
Different
system.
guy. Yeah, this guy's
Similar system, though, right?
yeah, very similar system. Yeah,
Okay.
this guy's name is John Stahl. He's the owner of Flexi Fit. It's kind of a epoxy that,
Yeah.
and he's doing very well, and he's actually doing really well online. He's selling a lot on Amazon. Well, to finish up that training, it's going to be Christina Cutter
Christina.
Paint.
Yeah,
Christina
Cutter Paint.
Cutter Paint. She was a union painter in Philly. Now she owns her own wallpaper painting company. She's doing very well. She's also now she's sponsored by Airworthy. She's sponsored by Roman. The glue that they use, the paste. So yeah, she's starting to find her way into this different world of everybody. A lot of people get to, as they approach 40, like, I can't paint every day. I'm going to try to launch some other thing. So either they go for a brand or they go for an influencer. So I like the Pretty Boy Paint Festival has dozens of influencers coming. So that's why it's so powerful. And entrepreneurs like you could come. Right. I'm only charging a small amount for guys like you. Okay. The bigger guys are paying for most of it that have the money, like Airworthy. Okay. So you would come for a very little bit of money, and you would bring out your products, and you would meet the people that would use it, and you would meet the people that would also do free video for you, and you would meet. And what I've done now is nobody else done, because if you go to a PCA or whatever, they just set up a booth and they leave you alone. I'm trying to bring you, the entrepreneur, closer to the other entrepreneurs. So I've come up with a name for it. It's called Paintpreneurs. So Pretty Boy Paintpreneurs, paint and preneurs, an entrepreneur. So if you come, you're going to be linked up with the other 10 coming, and you're going to know exactly where they are in their business. So if you were starting off, like I got a guy that's got the spray sleeve, right? He's got a sleeve for the spray gun. I got a guy that has this cool it's like a triangle. It's a rectangle. It opens up and it slides underneath the door. It's called the door stopper. He's not even launched it yet. He's going to go meet you that's selling this and selling. Some of the guys are making 7 figures selling to Sherwin-Williams. Right. You're going to meet him. So my goal is to make you powerful, to empower you to be able to not only find your best friend, your paint buddies. Everybody now is realizing this resources. You need people to help you, and these are the people in this festival that's going to change your life.
I love it.
And that's it. It's going to change your life, because if you're willing to come to a festival as a painter, and we know drywallers and painters they're rebels. They're social. Yeah. A lot of them have social anxieties. A lot of them can't be around people, and to come there and meet that person that you've been watching, and then they say, hey, let's get together, and now they're working together. Now they're best friends. Like Layla from Canada is best friends with Nikki and Nikki, but Ronnie in North Carolina. They talk every day. Where do they meet? Pretty Boy Paint Festival. So that's all part of my sobriety. That's all part of my new life, which is, if you can set the stage to help other people, why not? So I'm in gratitude. I'm in service. If I start getting selfish, I get miserable. I have to be in service. And I love it. I don't make that much money off these things.
So this is the 7th or 8th annual.
It's the 7th one.
7th annual.
Pretty Boy. It's 4 words.
Yeah. PPPF.
PPPF. Exactly. PPPF. Nicely. I like that.
And that's happening.
I started doing Pretty Boy Paint Festival.
23rd, July 23rd.
And it'll be 24th, 25th, the 23rd you land, but I'll be out west. Maybe you'll come to my one in Lake Elsinore.
Yeah, we'll talk. I was going to say I wouldn't pay. I would trade you for sponsorship of the Drywall Podcast. Because I'm a hustler.
Well, I'm already writing you a check, because I know after this airs, the phone's going to ring off the hook. And I'm going to be supermodels. I'll never have to go to another airport again. It's going to happen. Right. I appreciate that, Nick.
No,
Nick Harmon.
I think that a podcast is weird. It's a weird animal. And you can imagine when I was like, I'm going to start a Drywall podcast, my friends were like, you're nuts. Talk about a snoozer.
How's it going?
You're episode 174, 5 years.
All right. So what are you? How many people usually view an episode? What's your
I
biggest?
mean, we've had
1,000,
like,
500,
so
200?
Podbean gives me like these algorithms, but it's so hard to tell because it only recognizes like downloads. But we've had like over 30,000 downloads. And what happens is like people like you come on and then you'll tell a few people, but this is a good episode. Like, you're a character and what you have is very interesting and it's an interesting story, of course. That's what I'm looking for always. But you're connected to people too, just like a Pretty Boy Paint Festival. The Drywall Podcast has ultimately been a connector. It's been fascinating, so cool. And that wasn't really I was like, oh, I'm gonna have this podcast. I'm gonna sell more product, which I have. But the byproduct is community, which has been really cool. You
Anybody
know,
become your best friend? Have you got new friends from this that you hang out with because
tons,
of this? That's
tons,
great.
yeah, yeah, tons.
Have you
We
visited anybody? Have you like met them online
Yeah,
and what
I visited you like because Ben, we got into CSR because of the podcast, and I interviewed Columbia Tools. It was weird. It was just like a fluke, and I ended up, the owner of Columbia Tools called me up. He's like, "Dude, I'm on like episode 7." He's like, "I love your podcast. Of course, I'll come on." And then from that relationship, I got into CSR. Ben from GWI found out I was at CSR. He calls up. He's like, what is this Fresco Harmony stuff? He still won't come on because some people are shy. I give him a lot of shit over it, but like, whatever. Um, no shame. Like some people just, this is not their bag, man.
Let's talk about that for 1 second because
Sure.
I think everybody that owns their own company, and you have 170 something episodes, probably 100 of those guys own their own drywall companies.
Yeah,
And
at least.
I'm telling you right now, if you can't put a microphone on and get in front of that job site and say, "Hi, my name is Dave, my name is Sarah, we're drywalling this and we use only this and we get it done this way and we really care about our clients and we do all this stuff, and please give us a call." If you're not willing to do that, you're leaving a lot of money on the table, and you might not make it. You might not make it because everybody now is buying from tribally. They're voting tribally and they're buying tribally.
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell you how many guys buy my product because they go, "I've been watching you for like 2, 3 years now, and
Right.
I just wanted to try it."
Yeah.
Then they like it. They go, "Oh shit, it works. Oh, okay. I love the feel of my hands."
It's free
Anything you can do,
advertisement.
free advertising.
Like
Free
it's
advertising.
work, it's time. I have to take the time, I have to edit, I have to do the thing, but I think too the biggest joy is that now I know you. Like that's really cool. And it's not just you, it's 170 yous. It's very cool. And it's not just like, and people from my industry, and we get to talk shit or whatever. It doesn't matter. But it's been a really cool deal. But a lot of that comes from being that practice of like go live. Like if you've never gone live, that's the hardest. Like go live, point a fucking
I did
camera.
stand up. I know go live. I know live. Well, let me ask
Yeah.
you this: how do you go from a drywall to a decorative finish? So you're not selling just mud; you're selling a
Yeah,
decorative.
you're opening up a can of worms. But I mean, Fresco Harmony my background is drywall finishing, so I'm a journeyman drywall finisher. But Fresco Harmony is a color additive for joint compound, which is or filler they call it in Europe, but it turns drywall mud into plaster. So
Yes.
it's essentially the people that could make the most money from my product don't only do drywall. They don't really do plaster or decorative finish. So it's bridging a gap between this decorative finish. We get some painters, but it's hard. Like plaster's hard.
Yes.
And I'm not saying paint is easy or anything like that, but learning the dynamics of mud is another world. It's a very unique dynamic medium, and all drywallers know how to wield this medium. So why not put color in it and make the damn wall beautiful? So that's where I'm at. I'm bridging this weird gap with a
That's
cost.
all through evolution. It's through
Yeah,
evolution. Now,
yeah,
I'm sure, like, when I walk in, when I go to, like, Monday, I was in a paint store, a very busy paint store, Rings End it's called, in Stamford, Connecticut, where University of Connecticut is. And you're with your brothers and sisters, you feel like very harmonized.
yeah, yeah,
You feel in harmony with them, the same energy level, because their brain has to do the same thing. The
yeah,
painter, how many people say, I can't fucking paint. That shit drives
yeah,
me crazy.
yeah.
I can't mud. I never liked it. I'd
Right,
always hire somebody to mud. I couldn't
right.
do it. It drove me banana. The way it flopped over and the way it messy and
But that's what's
the
so
way
that's what's so cool about your paint festival is that like we should do that. Somebody like me or someone
yeah,
should, and we've talked about it in this
yeah,
community, having like a festival or
yeah,
a gathering with these
yeah.
companies. Some of the retailers have them. CSR has a Black Friday event that's pretty cool, that's free. But like, GWI had one that was pretty cool. He invited some people. But yeah, like what you're doing is super cool. I'm just giving you props.
Let me
It's
show you
very
this.
cool.
Let me show you this. So I just designed a new game. So I took out your average service tray, right? And I made these clips on there. So we're
Okay.
gonna make a 12 by 12 piece of poster cut out. One's gonna be a heart, and the other side is going to be a circle or a diamond. I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
You and I are gonna have a brush. We're gonna have our Tyvek suit on, and we're gonna dip the brush, and I'm gonna throw it to you, and you have to catch it with one hand. And if you catch it with one hand, you can paint that, fill out the diamond, and then dip it and throw it back. If it hits the ground, you got to count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you pick it up. So the first team with the best time to paint, it's called Ye Old Brush Toss. So that's going to be launched. Nobody's ever done it. So you guys could do something like that. You guys could have something where you'd have to, spackle with left hand, whatever you want.
Yeah. Love it.
Anything that doesn't get people hurt. But what happens is if you're willing to do the work, which has been
Tons.
herding cats. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many guys are just right there. Oh man, I got a job. I can't make it. Who's really stepping up, and I'm not sure if it's stepping up in your brand, is women. Women have exploded in paint. Are they,
Yeah.
are they doing drywall?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There you go.
Dropped when this airs, we'll have dropped Jackie Hasser has become like a big, proponent for advanced tools. And then they hooked her up with a children's author out of Europe that she's in like a children's book about women in the trades.
I think that. Well, the last thing I'll say about the festival is that's another thing.
Yeah.
Is that it's breaking down. And you and I are both comfortable in our own skin. We've been an entrepreneur long enough because once you flip the mirror on yourself and you can survive that first couple years as an entrepreneur, you have to realize this is our lifestyle. So we're very willing to, like you are, to meet other people. And
Yeah.
so my festival has every walk of life there. It has the traditional guy with 3 guys and a wife and a kid. It's got a gay woman. It's got a African American guy. It's got an
Yeah.
Indian. It's got everybody there, Spanish, and everybody gets along, and it's just really, really cool. And
Love it.
it's. I don't know if you know this, but when you were in England, there's a painter a day killing themselves. A decorator kills themselves every day in England.
Well, I know it's an issue
Single
in
day.
in the United States as well, like mental health.
Exactly. Mental health. So
Yeah.
these things will really help. So anything you do that can bring people together under the auspice, and I'm sure you'll do a great job if you do it. So yeah.
Brian Cooney, one thing I do ask everyone is for a pearl of wisdom. You've had a bunch already, buddy, but if you could distill all those beautiful Uncle Brian pearls down into one crystallized essence and put it on a billboard for all your fellow tradespeople out there, what would you say?
Yeah, no regrets. Don't die with any regrets. Live the music that's in your heart. and have the courage to do it. The problem is you talk yourself out of it. So if you can, if you have an addiction or you have anger problems, you have to get rid of all that stuff first, and then you get to see yourself, and hopefully you have no regrets. That's it. You die on your deathbed with a smile. I gave this world my all, and that's all you can say. That's it.
Love that. Pretty Boy. So you've got it's Brian at Pretty Boy Paint Cleaner. Is that a good way to contact you if somebody wants to contact you?
The email is brian@prettyboypaintcleaner.com. The Instagram and the Facebook is Pretty Boy Products.
Pretty Boy Products on Instagram, Facebook.
And same thing, Pretty Boy Products.
And YouTube. Do you have a YouTube presence?
Yeah, I have two YouTubes. When you were doing the podcast, I did the Pretty Boy Pros. There's 14 episodes, and I learned how to camera. That was the start of all of it. So when I did the festival and I was trying, like, when you burn the boats, you're going to do anything you can to survive. And so I tried the YouTube, and I realized way too expensive. And then I went into the festivals, and that was more me.
Okay, you had kind of a podcast type show on YouTube.
Not a podcast. No. You just got to watch it. Pretty Boy Pros. It was just a 20-minute segment. It was just basically a documentary on painters, and I'd go to your town, and I'd meet you.
Love it.
We'd have the 10-gallon. We'd have the bucket talk where we'd both sit on buckets at the end, and we would talk about, so what is your challenge, and because I was a painter like you're a drywaller. The challenges, and it always comes down to the same thing. I can't keep guys. I try to grow. Paint's gotten too expensive, and nobody wants this surface. Maybe I need to move. I mean, the same crap that we all deal with. Yeah, getting undercut, but yeah. So Pretty Boy Products is the main thing they can get a hold of me from on Instagram and Facebook and on TikTok. I'm on TikTok as Pretty Boy
TikTok
Products
as well. I'll have to follow you on TikTok as well. Thank you so much for being on the Drywall Podcast today. What'd you think?
I had fun. Oh, I love it. You're a great. Well, I didn't know where it was going to go. Yeah. But it was nice that you were willing to dive into some of the man.
Yeah.
So you're good. You're good at it. You're a good listener and very.
Thank you.
Very thought-provoking questions.
I'm a good listener and a good interrupter. We got both.
We don't want to talk about that part, but yeah.
Both qualities. But thank you so much for being on the Drywall Podcast. Today, I will gather more information from you. Look for Pretty Boy Products out there in social media, wherever you get your paint stuff. We'll talk soon, buddy.
Thanks, buddy, and thanks so much. Have a great day, and hey, go U.S. Soccer, right?
Yeah, go USA. All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Talk soon. Peace.
Bye. A huge shout out to Uncle Brian for being with us on the Drywall Podcast today. We don't always have painters on the show, but today we did, and I'm glad we did. The Drywall community, myself, welcome you. We appreciate you. And maybe if you're out there, get a hold of some Pretty Boy soap and give it a try. I know I'm going to. Also, I'd like to welcome back Ames Tools for sponsoring the Drywall Podcast in the month of July. It's because of sponsors like Ames and awesome guests like Brian that I get to bring you new and original content like the show you just heard. Stay tuned for information on an upcoming training hosted by yours truly, happening soon at our very first Ames location, set to offer Fresco Harmony. If you come, you just might leave with some badass plaster swag and free Fresco Harmony. We'll have more information on that in the upcoming episodes. You have lots of choices of content to listen to when you choose something to listen to, whether you're on the way to work or you're mudding away on a drywall project. Today you decided to listen to the Drywall Podcast, and I'm grateful you did. Be sure to join us next time. We have a drywaller out of New York who is also a plaster person, kind of a badass. I got to meet up with him recently, and it's a fantastic interview. I hope you all have an amazing weekend or week or whatever you're going into. And remember, keep drywalling and painting.